Hey guys, what's good? Santos Obomede here. I'm going to explain how I maxed the results for my SMMA clients selling high ticket local services. So let's just go ahead with it. The situation was the next. I was getting a lot of leads to my clients, but not really leads were closing. Why? Because the lead quality was just bad. Right now, to this day, it's just not enough to get just leads. That is the easiest part of the game. You need to get them qualified. That is the most important thing. If you don't get qualified leads, you can get to 10k a month still, but it's going to be a headache. Your clients are going to churn fast. You're going to get bad reputation, and you're actually not going to have much confidence because your clients ain't making money. So with no further ado, let's just go straight to it. For this solution, I had to understand that quality and qualification are the most important things right now in marketing. So I basically asked myself, what is their most valued client? What makes them qualified? And what, apart from leads, will help them? It's also very good that you don't just ask this to yourself, because if you knew the answer, you wouldn't have made that mistake. You need to ask them in the onboarding process what is important for them, what is their most valued client, what makes them qualified, and all this stuff. You ask this to them. Then I have to understand my niche. How important was intent? Is intent good? Like, is intent needed? Not really needed? It depends on the ticket. The more high ticket it is, the more important is intent, and the more you have to adapt your marketing to attract these kind of customer. Then the sales process, how does it work? Stages, how much time does it take from you bringing the lead to it actually closing? Because it might just take 6-9 months, 1 year, 1 month. It depends. What frictions is the lead going to put on to stop the sale from happening? And what is the closing rate, typically what it is, to actually understand if your leads are being good enough or not. Then you also need to think, what do top competitor companies do? Why? Because probably their marketing is better than yours, and if you can't just copy them, it's just going to be a quick shortcut. This is the cheat code. And then I try to make them work less. I always was thinking, how can I make this so that they have to put in less work to get those results in? So basically, I got feedback constantly as well, because no feedback, no improvement. You don't have to be afraid of it, because I really was, and it impeded me from actually making an improvement, because you have to see how good is working what you do to actually improve and actually iterate. So it's actually very positive to ask. You think that if you put it up, if it's going wrong for a reason, it's better for you to openly talk about it than them having to come to you because the lead quality is not good. If you bring the topic to the table, it's going to be way better than if they have to come to you. And always be humble to accept. I was humble to accept that I sucked. That is very important. But example one, more friction is more intent. When you increase the friction, they need more effort to actually convert to a lead, and that makes them more qualified because they have more intent. Basically, I made them type their details in the Facebook quick form, because I had to use Facebook, and not autofill. Why? Because if you make them type, it's actually going to take them more time. It's actually going to be more friction, and is actually going to mean that the lead that you get is higher on intent. Then, if it's possible, I used a landing page instead of instant forms. This is just way better. You give more information. The client is the lead is more qualified because he knows more about you, and also it takes time to fill, because you typically have to write something. Then if you have to use forms, then use high intent forms and rich content. Those are the two kind of forms that would be the best. In my opinion, from my experience, high intent didn't really work the best. It wasn't really a high difference. It wasn't really any difference. Just one more step to verify the information. But rich content actually allows you to make. It allowed me at least to make a landing page for my clients in just a form. Then, second, ideal client. I try to target bigger projects with bigger profits. while using the same ad spend. Why am I talking about this? Because in my case, I find out that if I target bigger projects like a complete house instead of just a bathroom, it's just going to go better. They're just going to make more money, and the ad spend is typically the same. The cost per click is typically the same. So why don't you just use the one that is going to drive more profit to your clients? Basically go big, think big. Example 3, productivity is more intent. This is basically why I switched from Facebook ads shit leads to basically Google ads delicatessen ones. Why am I talking about this? Because Google ads is all about intent. So basically it was very good for me to go to Google ads. Yeah, it was a little bit more difficult. Yeah, it was a little bit more complex, but the quality is just higher and the results were quite instant. The sales process just started to take less and less time, because with Facebook they typically were a little bit more unqualified, even though sometimes it may be better to use Facebook ads. I'm just going to say this. Then example 4, using urgency driven offers to basically incentivize attract the kind of profile, the kind of demographic that is more urgency sensitive. That means that they want to do it now. For example, I use a quote in 3 days as an offer. Here it says you will receive your quote in just 72 hours, which is even better, sounds even better. Then immediate availability. That means that if you want us to start now, we can do that. Why am I saying this? Because in construction industry, sometimes you have to wait to get your job done. But we were saying immediate availability. That is going to attract a kind of lead that is more qualified, because he wants to do things now. Then start this week. That is another ad that we used here to basically incentivize people that wanted to get it done this week. Literally, I want you to come to my bathroom this fucking week to get it done. That is how you get qualified leads. Then networking. I used email marketing as a massive networking tool. You can basically use Instantly is the software I use to basically do email marketing for all my clients basically, and it works really well. You get all the responses there. It's just streamlined, automated, so you don't have to care about it, and it's actually working really well. I'm very happy about the results. I do not know why did I procrastinate on it so much time. I should have done this since the beginning, but well, at the beginning you don't have this many experience. Then it's very important that I didn't sell it as email marketing for God's sake. Just don't sell it like that, because they won't understand it. They'll have more doubts. You just have to say that you've got a network of people that can help them grow. Basically, if I work with construction businesses, I would say that I know architects, I know interior designers, I know real estate agencies that will collaborate with them to bring them more projects. That's the only thing I say, to be honest. And it works wonders. You don't have to explain that you have a list of emails and you send. No. Just don't do that. Then example 5, actually, branding oriented to sales. These have to done that I've done a little bit less, but it still works a lot. You basically reduce friction and objections by answering people's common concerns through branding. Concerns regarding to the actual service. Have to say that I didn't do it because it can bring a lot of complexity. It's better if you can go physically to record the content and basically take care of the maximum possible, because if you have to depend on clients sending you videos and recording videos to themselves, you must be really good, because they forget that very often. But yeah, branding oriented to actually reducing objections in the sales process. Every time you see a personal brand out there on the internet, it's basically reducing objections, because it's increasing transparency. But yeah, then example 6, qualify leads before sending them is super important. Just basically qualify them, talk to them on the phone before sending them. I did this since the very beginning, and I have to say that it's super good. It's super helpful because you get to save your client from actually talking to people that are just not interested in their services, and that might discourage them in the long term. Basically, just I prepared a script with all the questions that I have to do to qualify them, and I go through it. I ask the questions, I get the answers, and if I think that is a good lead to send them that can potentially close, doesn't have to be 100% sure, but if you think that it can potentially close, you send it to them. If you don't think it's going to close, just don't send it, because leads, you should have an abundance of leads, and you shouldn't really need so many leads for them to close one client. So basically, if you think it's unqualified, just do what I did, just throw it to the bin, bro. And yeah, basically this was it. I hope it helps a lot. Apply this shit, don't be lazy, because I used to be very lazy. That's why sometimes I struggled to grow the business, because I was just not learning. I didn't want to learn. I was lazy as shit. And yeah, I'm basically telling you this because it will help a lot. Apply this shit, don't be lazy. But yeah, no slacking, and see you on the